First of all, I'll give a little context here. That is, in 2002, the business strategist, C.K. Prahalad, reminded the world that billions of people at the bottom of the global economy represent not a burden, but a multiple trillion-dollar opportunity. It's waiting to be unlocked when we provide the tools, access, and dignity, but not handouts to the bottom. The real source of market promise is not the wealthy few in the developing world, but millions of aspiring poor who are joining the market economy for the first time. We're AI for Good squared. We're helping humanity prosper by empowerment. Today, we're going to talk about a vision of AI at the bottom of the pyramid, what CK called the BOP. We're going to journey from extreme poverty to sustainable prosperity, and is through the AI for Good squared, powered by the AI for ROI cloud. That's an AWS global cloud-based AI capability that we're going to discuss that's partially built out at this point. So AI for Good has had lots of press for things like, from the United Nations, from things like macro level projects where they have satellite images of the Earth, and they can predict routes. They can see where agriculture is growing, where it's not growing. So vegetation, and of course the CDC monitors global pandemics and diseases worldwide, and we know we can go in there with medicines to solve things. But we're going to talk about the AI for Good squared focus, which is micro level. And that is AI forming and lifting micro businesses, and AI for agriculture, education, and health and water management after we get the micro businesses part up and running full steam ahead. And so let's look at global income. On the bottom tier, we have 659 people estimated by GPT-5, 8% of the global population, making less than $1 a day. That's $250 per year.
Wow.
Now, tier one would be the 2.47 billion people, 30% of the population, between $250 a year to $1,250 a year. Tier three, $20 a day. Another 2.64 billion, or 32%. Tier three at $100 a day, 5,000 to 25, 1.4 billion. And then you get up to this tier that we all are familiar with in the global north, the prospering economies, where people make 25,000, which we call poverty in the U.S., all the way up to billions. So the 25,000 to 250 per year is 247 million, or 9%. And then those at 250,000 a year and more is another 247 million people, or only 3% of the population. Now, together, that's 12% of the global north is making all this money, and 88% of the global south is making almost nothing. Let's talk about some of the issues with charity. So large governments transfer lots of money, but there's lots of leakage, lots of corruption, and little impact. I mean, if you talk to these citizens in Uganda and in Malawi, Zambia, in South America, they don't see really any benefit from these huge government transfers for the most part. And then after charity supplies are depleted, they're back to hand to mouth again, where they're not really doing any better than they were. And so this dependency grows, and their dignity erodes, and recipients of repeated handouts depend on them as entitlements eventually. And there's really only short-term relief with no lasting impact. So if we go back to the definition of charity, it's really lost that the charity is supposed to be, it's intended to be, helping those help themselves, and not just handouts. So let's talk about sustainable empowerment, where villages are treated as entrepreneurs, not as charity cases, where they're given microloans with dignity, and where the lenders have the potential of making 4% or more return on that microloan. And I've been told that that the borrowers of microloans at the bottom have a 99% reliability rate of paying that money back, far better than loans granted in the global north. And so we have proof now. We have the Zambia Sowing Initiative, which we've had for a few years now, growing revenues, and they're selling out their inventories. So this model can be repeatable and scalable. The aim is to transform poverty into prosperity. AI automation needs to lift up the bottom billions. The goal of the AFROI cloud is to provide accessible 24/7 market, finance, and business support to everyone on the globe, not just people here in the global north, where we become really dependent on it, and it's very familiar. People in the global south don't even know it exists. But that can change. We can educate them. Really, it's not that expensive to educate them. And there's a model we can use to do that. This maturity model is that we start off with the hand to mouth with $1 a day income, and so we make them aware that they have potential to do better, and then we start seeing some motivation. And then level 2, we see adoption of the pilot. And the pilot is providing support. Their micro business is launched. Level 3 is really the infrastructure and enablement, where we give them the AI-driven operations and minimal infrastructure upgrades on site in the village, because they don't need it, most of it in the village. That can be done from the volunteers in the global north in the early stages, without them having to know much about it. But they can take the knowledge and they can really ramp the business up, as we've proven in Zambia with the initiative I'm going to show you today. And then level 4 is really the growth and continuous improvement, sustainable profitability, reinvesting and scaling revenues. And then, of course, level 5 is where we can replicate this across the globe, where we can take what we've learned in one village and give it to another village. We can do it all across the countries of Africa, all the countries of South America, Central America, Haiti, Southeast Asia. So let's look at money now. We spend about $24 trillion on killing each other over a decade, according to GPT-5. I mean, we're very good at coming up with money for that. We're very good at doing that. Now, GPT-5 also estimates that it only takes $10 trillion to really serve the entire 6 billion people at the bottom of the pyramid. And we can get them into the global economy. And right now, we have 0.7 trillion globally being channeled into charities, so we're giving money. We're not that far away. So if we were to add a little bit more money over 10 years, we have, the 10 trillion to really to really eradicate the global poverty. So, not only can we do good for people today, right now charities give to about 10% maybe, but we have the prospects now of really serving the entire bottom of the pyramid and really bringing them into the economy. And as C.K. Prahalad taught us, that's a huge economy. Now, if we have them in micro business and they're making money, then they're spending money. So they become buyers and sellers within the global economy. Everybody benefits. We have the 6 billion people producing, and they can buy from us and we can buy from them, and everybody can have equal opportunity. Therefore, it follows, it's better to shift the approach from handouts to AI for enabling micro business in the global economy. Let's now go into Zambia, to our project there, to our pilot. And so Zambia is down there in Africa. We have operations in Malawi and Zambia. And AI for Good at the micro level is dealing with people, not statistics, not not countries, but people. Let's take, for example, Mary and her baby, a real person. Their well is contaminated with disease. They're sick and need fresh water. 85 million people drink dirty water, the bottom 1%. They drink it from mud holes where cows defecate and urinate, and they have we can see 8 diseases in the water. And so it's no wonder they're getting sick. And two of the women in our project in Zambia have kids that died from drinking that contaminated water. And so AI for Good is the United Nations initiative at the macro level for sustainability, and we're at the micro level. We're dealing with the villages like Mary's and things like the Adopt a Village to help these people become, global entrepreneurs running microbusinesses and competing with us in the global economy. Now let me go back there. I hit two buttons. So this is a partner of choice, Cross International in Zambia, or maybe this is Zambia. We were in several countries in a couple months ago there in Africa, and I'm in the back there in the picture. But you see other members of the team, Zach and Kelly and Mark, and they hit water that same day we were there. And these villagers had not had water. They walked for miles to get water. Now they have fresh water in the village. This is not that expensive to do. We can make a huge difference. And our goal at AI for ROI and AI, which powers the AI for Good, is to get them into the global economy once they have basic water and nutrition. So how does AI work in the cloud? Well, here's a little picture. It shows that the global users can access it on the left-hand side there. And then we have this thing called agentic AI. This is AI that works autonomously, and it's very well demonstrated today. We have lots of applications that work very, very well. And we have tools, standards like the Model Context Protocol, which makes us connect to all the sources of information on the bottom. We can connect to apps, social media sites, all the social media sites, email servers, database engines, ontology servers, cloud services, other providers of LLMs. This is all basically integrated then in the cloud, accessible by users. Now, at first, we want the Global North volunteers to run it and then give the results to villagers, because they can't really do it on day one, but eventually they will be able to. Now we can have the AI, from what it's learned, and we can also have it tap into current sources of knowledge, such as retrieval augmented generation on the right here in the diagram. So really this is a state-of-the-art capability running in the cloud that makes it possible for us to do this lifting of the bottom like never before in history. Now, AI is an exponential multiplier. That means the more compute power you put to it, the more impact you have. And in the global cloud, we have cloud servers on data centers on every continent, multiple data centers every continent that are serving people across the globe. There is no part of the earth which is not reachable by local data center. And then things like Starlink give us global reach. Certainly Zambia is covered by Starlink today, and many other countries that are not there today will be soon, because Starlink's goal is to cover the entire globe with satellite communications. So we have really the complete opportunity now to reach anyone on the earth at any village, even off-grid, even if they have dirt floors and only huts, we can still reach them through global communications and computing, and AI capability can be delivered to them. So now, you've heard of these avatars. We, in the West and in the North, the global North, talk a lot about avatars with humans that talk to people. If you've seen the people full motion that are able to speak, even give entire lectures as avatars speaking on behalf of either AI or some human, which has created the script. Now, if we go to Africa, now the avatars can be in African speakers. And it's not so important that they have a person speaking to them, that they get their content delivered to them some way. Now, on the avatar can certainly write in Chichewa. Now, a lot of these languages are not very well spoken today. Like Chichewa is not really a mastered language for spoken Chichewa by avatar, but it's getting better. But we can have capability for full dialogue with the AI strictly through an interface with point and click and a camera and language. So this technology really is mature enough that there is no one that we can't really get into uh, the AI world of enablement. But like I said before, we don't have to give them a handheld device initially. We can do it for them as volunteers and deliver the results. We're certainly doing that today in Zambia with the 20 women there that I'm going to talk about in a minute. And so here is the first of our areas of e-commerce. This is the micro business. And so when you have people making clothing like they do and sewn goods, embroidery goods, like our project in Zambia, they can take a picture of it when we give them a device with a camera. They can talk to it. They can point and click. That can zip up to the cloud. The AI for ROI Cloud can determine quality control. It can also do the pricing, do the marketing, do the product improvements. It can do the supply chain. Really, AI can do it all. It's just a question of, do we, as the global North, care enough to make it a priority for us to lift the bottom 6 billion into the global economy? As C.K. Prahalad said, we all gain immensely by doing that. So it's not really even charity at that point in time. It's really just good business that we lift up the bottom billions for good business. So now if you look at this assumptions, given that these people have basic education, health, and nutrition, a villager can compete in the global economy. And so apps are shown in the blue, and the partners are shown in the list there on the left-hand side. The hypothesis we have here is that with just photos and verbal instructions provided by AI, they can do everything they need to do for e-commerce. Today they don't have access to the global economy. They don't have access to anybody but their local village neighbors. That's all changeable in 2025 because the capability is there and it's not that expensive. So AI can promote, match up global buyers with little help from U.S. volunteers, so that we give them a lift, not just by AI, but also by volunteers of our initiative here. They care enough to give a couple hours a week to really lend a hand. Maybe it's running an AI program to tell them a better product to make, or helping them with the supply chain to get the buyers, or maybe even helping with the marketing that AI drives through the AI for ROI Cloud. So now, if we give microloans to these people, I've been told, it's been reliable sources telling me that these people in the global South, these villagers that make nothing, pay back their loans with 99% reliability, much greater than in the West. So we shouldn't shy away from giving microloans to these people, and the energy they have and the excitement they have. I don't know if you've seen the website video, but in there you see the women singing of our Zambia pilot. They're singing with joy. They're chanting about how AI, how what they've got so far over what they had 2 years ago from nothing is a life-changing event, and the joy is just immense. So given we have AI engines in the cloud, again on the left here, sales leads provided by the cloud, AI gen proposals to match up micro lenders. It's all to be done for them. It's very easy to do. E-banking locations near the villages for depositing money from their transactions. Hypothesis: villagers can use loans to grow business and compete in the global market. Now, AI did this for a local market, for the rich there in Africa, of things that they like to wear for formal occasions. AI did this in about 3 or 4 milliseconds. And any one of these garments would bring more profit than the person makes in the entire year. In fact, probably, multiple years. So, the point is that if we give them the skills, we give them the designs, we give them the templates for cut and, for made to measure cut and sew from a template, and we have the fabrics, high quality fabrics sent to them, that they can make things that command a very high price and high profit margin. And so if we give, like, for example, the sewing initiative we have in Zambia, we give them $5,000. Now, $5,000 built the entire building in Zambia for the sewing business. I mean, that's how far this money goes in the third world countries. But, we give them some money for supplies, money for, equipment. Our women in Zambia and our pilot now have solar power, electric machines, hot water. They have safe drinking water from a well. They have, tons of ambition and excitement. So given on the left-hand side, we have existing projects through our partner of choice, Cross International. We have AI tools and mentors, like people, volunteers in the global north that are willing to put a couple hours in a week. And we give them some small grants and loans. Hypothesis. Clothing from sewing can successfully be taken to the global e-market to sell at competitive prices as the global north receives. So really, that's the question we're asking today. AI for microbusiness. Can AI drive growth and streamline success for the bottom of the pyramid? Well, clearly, these women on the right-hand side are our 20 women in our pilot program, and they're definitely giving the answer absolutely yes. It works. Now, an example of like this can be taken to the village next door, or to South America, or to Southeast Asia. If we have a business a model, it's very easy to replicate that for a fixed price almost anywhere on the planet. Now, I'm not going to show you them singing and dancing here after they heard, after their last meeting when we were there in Zambia. You can see that on the web. But, it's just important to note that these women will soon be in the global economy with products competing with same prices, undercutting prices of those in the global north. Now, I should mention that these women 2 years ago had nothing. They were the bottom of the village. They were the outcasts. They were the sexually abused. They were desperate. They were walking 2 hours with their kids for water. They had nothing. This is a remarkable transformation made by AI. Now, I'm getting some pings. I think there's some messages coming in. Okay, wait a minute. You can't see my presentation? Can somebody tell me if you can see my presentation?
I can see it.
Okay.
Hey, Terry, that's an old message.
Okay.
Keep driving on, brother.
Okay. So I don't think there's anything else. In fact, if there's anything else that you want me to stop, or just tell me on the speaker, okay?
Yeah, I'm good, Terry. I'm in the University of Kansas Medical Center, nuclear medicine, so I'm kind of coming in and out, but I've seen all of your presentations so far. I don't see, pretty much everything.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, good. I'm good.
Okay. So our first market, of course, for our Zambia pilot is the local market there in Africa. That's the one on the screen. And the two is the global market, which is our ambition for very soon. So our strategic focus and next steps of this global poverty challenge is first of all, economic empowerment through agentic AI. We can build sustainable job skills and livelihoods via AI-powered applications. We can have micro business enablement scaling to the global markets. And agentic AI for funding, targeting AI applications to unlock the capital and resources of the community for growth, and funding model design and to sustain impact and ROI. You know, this is why we're having this meeting today at AI, the World AI Week, is to build this coalition to help us achieve these lofty goals. I hope that today you've seen from this that this is not hard stuff to do. This is it takes a few hours per volunteer. It takes a few dollars for proving it out in pilots like we have in Zambia for the 20 women. So minimal amount of money for one particular micro business with maximal, huge, life-changing gains for the villagers. So future collaborations will be healthcare, agriculture, education, e-commerce. We've already got people lined up for things like the education part, and we have doctors and applications. I can show you more of this on a different talk. This is not for today because we don't have time. We have capabilities to help hospitals. We don't want to go there today because we want to focus on the entrepreneurs today. The immediate needs, the immediate asks. We need capital for application development and deployment. We need social investors. We need volunteers of all types. It doesn't matter if you have AI skills. If you do, then you volunteer for an AI capability. If you don't, you volunteer for a trade, for example. Even people that know how to do embroidery and sewing and make products, or even people that know how to do business. All of these are skills that we need. And I'm hoping that we have this collaboration, and people even on the call today will sign up to give something, maybe some skill. Don't think that your skill is not necessary, not needed, because we'll demonstrate to you that your skill is vitally important to us, regardless of what that skill is. And we need partners to join the AI for Good Global Poverty Challenge. Corporations can join in to do what corporations do very well. We could even use partners for our development, or partners for our business, or partners for infrastructure. All of this is very important. So now let's summarize by saying that these people in these diagrams, in this picture on the right, are drinking from the mud holes we talked about earlier. This is the life before the pilot in Zambia. Going with the kids for 2 hours, getting the buckets of water on your head and carrying it back for 2 hours. What does that mean? The kids don't go to school. What does it mean? The kids are drinking that dirty water and getting sick as the parents are getting sick. 2 of the women in the Zambia pilot we have today have kids that died from that water. So with that, let's turn it into an open discussion now, where we have lots of time left. We're right on schedule. We're 11:30, so we've had the first half for showing what we're doing, and the second half is dedicated toward addressing questions, talking about ideas.
Hey, Terry. Hey, I just want to say thank you so much for your time today. I am joining the team in Amsterdam, and I do have to run, but Terry, thank you so very much, and then I will connect with you later. But if I'm needed, please don't hesitate to reach out. But
Sure,
looking forward to joining the team and pushing the cause forward. And
Thanks,
yeah,
Matt.
we can all help we can
And give
do.
us a
So thank
report
you.
back, Matt, when you get back from Amsterdam, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And thank you very much for
Thanks.
your time, Terry. And
Okay.
again, everyone today, and I appreciate you. Thank you. Bye.
So with that, let's open the floor now to discussion. Does anyone have any questions about how AI works or what AI can do? Anyone challenge any of the assumptions we've made? By all, speak freely. If you have doubts, if you have concerns, by all means, this is an open forum, and we don't shy away from any question, any discussion, any dialogue. Dan, do we have any questions?
Okay, I think I have a question.
Sure.
Okay, when you're talking about like helping the less privileged in Zambia and other countries around the world, right?
All right.
And you're talking about like in terms of like the tailoring. So you actually teach them because like that's a skill on its own. So like how or deep I don't understand like how do they help how do you help these people like to be better in the society like because there are others like thank you.
Well, sure. To paraphrase the question, I think you're asking how in these countries where they have this severe poverty of $1 a day income, how do we really help them? I and also I think I hint that maybe we're talking about culture even in that question. That maybe how do we deal with being in a foreign country with people that have different traditions? They're not familiar with technology. These are all very valid questions and ones that we can address from our experiences. Let's go to the Zambia pilot we have. In Zambia, 2 years ago, we started with these women that were at the bottom of the village. I mean, this is the bottom village on the globe. Okay, this is one of the poorest places on earth. It's if you fly in to get there, you have to fly into Johannesburg, then fly over to Lusaka, Zambia, and then 45 minutes out, you get to a town called Chipata. No, actually, it's more like 2 hours out to Chipata, and then 45 minutes driving, you get on a very bad dirt road with lots of potholes. You get to this small village where we have this pilot program, and it's all dirt floor. It's really it's about as undeveloped as you can get. And so we noticed this 2 years ago with Partner of Choice Cross International, and through the building of the building, acquiring sewing machines, and encouraging these women. Remember the model I gave earlier was this model of how we lift the villagers first by getting them to understand, our intentions and to basically agree that we can help them. And then level number two is that they become familiar with what we're going to do. And level 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up. That in these levels, we're taking them step by step into, first of all, training because these women have never seen a sewing machine. So we're 2 years into this. The first several months were training, and they became proficient at it. And so 2 years after we started this thing, these women sell the clothing for the entire village and for all the villages around. And today, they sell out their entire. They got back orders and they sell everything out. They have back orders going into the fall and winter and spring already. People depend on them, and in doing we did a market assessment and in the local villages and shops and people, and we found in our survey, which was quite extensive, not a single villager, not a single shop did not know of our pilot program. They are the go-to place for sewing. These are women that 2 years ago had nothing, no skills, no hope, and kids dying from drinking dirty water. Does that answer the question, or should I go deeper on that?
Terry, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Dave Ryan? Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, just a quick background, Terry. For many years, I've been involved in 2 or 3 microenterprise developments the old ways. The discussion is primarily personally is in East Africa, which is basically Uganda, Nigeria, and South Sudan. And we've done some microenterprise development the old way. I do have contacts there. Also, there's a worldwide organization called 5 Talents. Since 1990, we've been doing microenterprise development in a number of countries. You can look at 5talents.com on the web and find out the countries we've been active in, but we don't have this technology, although I do have some contacts. So my question is, given there are two or three of these charitable organizations that I'm active in, how to bring this technology to them in the field, primarily in microagriculture and then clothing and commerce issues. And so we could probably partner with them. Your organization we could be partners with you. Also, I have some contacts at some of the major East Africa universities. I think they'd be happy to work in the field with you on those things. So the main thing, I guess, my question is, how can I introduce this the technology that you have developed to my sources? I think they can be trained. And then the second is, if we want to make some financial donations, how do we do that? So we can talk later on the side, but these are some of the backgrounds for me personally.
Well, that's good. Yes, those are all excellent points and very, very good initiatives that we would love to partner with. And so, this is, for everyone here, including all of us on the call. If you click on, if you point your camera on, or if you go to these URLs, you can bring up the websites, the AR for Good or the AR for ROI Cloud, and immediately it pops up a chatbot which will let you schedule a 1 hour or 30-minute meeting. I would really encourage everybody to have these sidebar discussions by getting on the calendar. It's just an easy way to do it very fast. Even today, as we're talking here, if you could schedule a half an hour, this way it saves the back and forth. And so let's do that. Let's talk about that in detail, okay?
Yeah, and then finally, can we have like a group chat, for example? Could we have you and me and two of my other people sources, online and have a small discussion together?
Well, certainly, absolutely. You can either use a calendar or you can just email me and we'll set it up, okay?
Yep, thanks.
Very good, very good. And so, have I answered the first question correctly and accurately and in enough detail?
Yeah, I can get back with you later too, but I don't want to take up a lot of time. Just indicating that I have old-fashioned resources in microenterprise, and we'd love to partner with you and train people to use your technology. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, very good, very good, very good. Let's do that. So let's continue.
Harry, I have a comment here as
Sure.
well. Yes, I'm coming in from Canada, in Amsterdam. Will you be visiting the events in Amsterdam?
Well, we have one of our team members, Matt, at Amsterdam today. He was on the call earlier. He's one that said he had to drop off because he's actually in the event right now. And so
Sure.
I could try to connect the two of you if you want me to do that.
Sure, yes. Okay, because we also have an API that works to integrate human values. So the developing countries, their opinions could definitely be integrated in helping you determine, what kind of project. So again, similar to what Dave says, some potential for partnerships there, and working with nonprofits around the world.
Yeah, very good. So if you put your email, your phone in the chat, I'll reach out to Matt and tell him that we're trying to connect the two of you together in Amsterdam while he's there.
Okay. Thank you. I will put my email in the chat.
And we all use WhatsApp also, because that's when we go to Africa in these countries, WhatsApp is the means of communication. So he's on WhatsApp as well. All of us are on WhatsApp.
Yeah, I'm on WhatsApp.
Okay, yeah, good. So that's another way to reach him.
Perfect. Okay, then Dave as well. I'll see you all on WhatsApp.
Okay, very good.
Thanks, Amin.
Thanks.
So let's open the floor. Does anyone have concerns about the willingness of third world country participants wanting to engage with the global north in endeavors like this? or concerns about the culture, about maintaining village norms and respect for how they do things. Are there anything? Is there anything at all that we should talk about that anybody is flagging as a potential red flag?
Just a couple of really quick bullets and not a discussion, but there are some countries we've worked in where keeping their government out of the picture is kind of important. In South Sudan, for example, we work primarily with local towns and villages and try to keep the bureaucracy of the government out of it. We also have been working in Pakistan and the same problem, basically working directly with people rather than through the, kind of keeping the government out of the picture. Not that they're going to be hostile, but that they basically, anyway, I can go into that more detail.
Well, that's good. Yeah, that's good. So that's good to know, and something we should talk more about. I attended we had 3 of us attend the AF for Good in Amsterdam. I'm sorry, in Geneva, Switzerland this summer. It was a 15,000 person event that was attended by UN and lots of people from Europe, even the States and other countries, even Africa and Southeast Asia and South America. So very good attendance, very well rounded. And at that event, I did have a chance to meet up with UN representatives, and also they put me in touch with money they gave to the Global Fund. And so I met with them. They called me up when I got back here to the States, and we had a conference call with about 4 or 5 of them. And they were telling me that we should tap into $500 million that they gave to Zambia. But in looking into it, none of these Zambia citizens I'm aware of have any benefit from that money. They never see it. And we had another discussion in Uganda, a similar discussion about the fact that the government is corrupt, and any money that's given to them by organizations like Global Fund never gets to the populace. So
yeah, that's very true. That's very true. Both in Uganda, South Sudan, some of the other countries, they definitely want to channel the expertise and the money directly through the charitable organizations that are already supporting some of the activities in agriculture in these villages, and keep the government out of it.
Yeah. That's a key insight. I'm glad you brought that up.
That's what we do. We don't. I mean, we're friendly with some of the government people, but they're bureaucrats, and they waste a lot of time and money. It's better to work just directly with the benefactors.
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
That brings up the final question I guess I have, and then I got to go back and find my wife. She's in nuclear medicine here at KU Medical Center. But in terms of maybe a little bit more information about, Terry, about how funding works in your organization and how we tap into being able to contribute to those either through my partners or individually. But we could talk about that later. I'm quite interested in that.
Well, that's good. And also on this, on all 3 of these QR codes, the 2 websites pop up the chat, which has an option to give right there. You can give money straight online if you want, or you can schedule meetings to talk about it, or send a note on the Impact Now. Impact Now downloads a PDF. It's a front and back 1-page PDF that talks about impact, and in there it goes into volunteering roles and even into ways to help. And so you might want to download that, and on there you can also give directly from a link, or you can, schedule to talk about it, or send email or whatever. So we're hoping that our coalition has lots of members like you, and everybody on this call. We hope everybody on this call joins the coalition, because we need every one of you. And
Well, since I know you personally, and I see that Doug and Kelly and some others have some questions, I'm gonna sign out and go check on my wife.
Yes.
But I want to get back to you later on all of these issues whenever it's convenient. It's quite interesting.
Yes.
I want to get involved.
Yeah, wish your wife the best, and we'll talk soon, okay?
Okay, bye.
So, Kelly, you have a question?
No question, Terry, on my end. But if you need me to chip in at all, let me know.
Okay.
Great presentation.
Okay, thanks. And Doug, did I hear that you have a question?
No, I put something in the chat to kind of help like relay the information that you were kind of providing, but I don't have a question. But yeah, happy to add in and or anything about the other. Yep.
I have a question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So I know you mentioned one of your goals was like sustainable empowerment. So like, how do you like make sure that those microloans lead to actual empowerment and not dependency or debt traps for these people?
Well, that's an excellent question. You know, we are not a charity, and Cross is not giving money as a handout. Cross also is very much of lifting up these villagers to sustainable futures. You know, you have to be careful that you don't just give money and walk away. That will get spent. I know I've been on projects where we've put in things like, you know, a front door on a place, and we go back and the front door is gone because they sold it for cash. I mean, you have to have this. You have to, up front. You have to establish a bond with the people. You know, you have to gain their trust, and they have to gain your trust and agreement that they won't abuse the situation. Kelly, do you want to speak to the women in Zambia and how they have been so reliable and so successful in taking the initial work from Cross into a sustainable business?
Sure. Yeah. Maurice, great question. And so my name is Kelly Miller. I'm with Cross International and I'm partner of Terry's. It's a spot-on question and one that is at the root of either success or failure in micro work. And the key to this is, you want to think that everybody in these communities would do well, and that's just not the case, right? So it comes down to the people. And as Terry's pointed out, as an organization, our business model, our ministry model is through partnership. We partner with local organizations that know their communities much better than we do, right? Our integration with local partners is through leadership development, coaching, mentoring, those type of things, program design. But when it comes to microloan programs, as Terry pointed out, this group of women, I was with them a number of years ago, sitting in the village, literally sitting on the dirt in the village, as a group of about 30 women. And the model we use is called the self-help group. It's a German-developed model for microloan programs that we've got about 11,000 women involved in Eastern Zambia right now. And it's very much a self-accountability model, so that there is a pretty stringent criteria for women to be selected into each small self-help group, 25 to 30 women. Some a little bit smaller on the 20 size. There has to be poverty levels first and foremost. And so as I'm sitting in the dirt talking with these women a few years back, as Terry alluded to, so many of them were women were prostitutes, were kind of fill in the blank of just the most impoverished and highly impoverished communities, but also highly motivated to move forward in life. And so mid conversation with these women, I said, let's just stop and and I'd like to get a picture here of where people are at. And Martin, who is our local leader there, I said, Martin, let's ask. This is all ad hoc at the point. How many women, and most of these women are at 3 or 4 children, and the typical scenario would be husband, but oftentimes the husband is gone or has passed away, HIV/AIDS related situation. There's a lot of still HIV/AIDS impact in these regions. Or the husband might be a day laborer making 60, 70, 80 cents a day kind of a thing. How many of these women have one meal a day in their household? Stand up. And the vast majority of those women stood up. They were getting about one meal, on average 1 meal a day. How many of you are getting 2 meals a day? There were 3 or 4 that stood up. How many of you are getting 3 meals a day? There were just a couple women that stood up. So the vast majority of that starting point were getting 1 meal a day, or sometimes less, for their entire household. Roll the clock forward a few years later, before even AI integrated, we were back in that village. We'd done some micro work with them in a few other sectors of work. And now that same group of women had moved from, most of them had moved out of 1 meal a day to 2 meals a day, and many from 2 to 3 meals a day. And now layering in AI in the last 2 years, as Terry alluded to, in terms of servicing not just their local communities, but also extended communities beyond them. They've got phones now, they've got Facebook pages. They're servicing 22 schools with school uniforms locally. Most all of the homes now had 3 meals a day. A lot of the women now had savings accounts and such. So much of this is because of the self-help group model of self-accountability. And when we as a group, not we cross, but we as a group of women are loaning to each other, they're accountable to each other. So the motivation for repayment rate is Terry alluded to. Dave was online. He knows. Maybe you all know micro enterprise. It goes back into the early 80s when that started, and the repayment rates are significantly higher than in the West, because the motivation, starting with the right people in other groups, motivation is so high to be successful here. So is it 100%? No, it's never 100%, but it's very, very, very high. And again, it comes down to selection of the right people, the right motivations, and that self-accountability. Does that help answer your question?
Yeah, a lot. Thank you so much for that. So I'm guessing this also motivates maybe other women in the village or other people in those communities to also, jump on board too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. Like anything, when you tell it to me, I'm not so sure, but when I see it happen, that makes it a lot more real. And that's where you get the replication, the growth, it tees up to the next level and such. So yeah, great observation.
Awesome. All right. Thank you very much for that.
Absolutely.
More questions? More topics? Anybody have an idea to throw out?
Well, I actually do have one more, but it's kind of a silly question.
That's fine.
Because I don't know much about AI, but I know, like you just mentioned, the self-help group, the self-help group model. But I was just kind of curious how do you use AI to identify those individuals or communities? I know you said you have local partners or partnerships with personnel there that can identify certain communities or groups of women or folks to do these projects with or microloans with. But how do you use AI or integrate AI into that to select those? I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't want to give you a complete answer, but I can tell you that the best way to really be astounded by what AI can do is to load the app, the GPT-5 from OpenAI onto your iPhone or your Android or your computer, and just start setting up projects and give good instructions, and then get into dialogues. And you'll be amazed at how thorough and how complete and how deep and how insightful the AI is today. It's hard to describe it with words. I have well over 2,000 very, very deep discussions that AI has done that I've cataloged, and they're on all kinds of topics. And so when it comes to engaging in the community like that, the AI can serve as a assistant, as a partner as such, able to have dialogue with locals. But that really isn't the most important thing initially. What's far more important initially is that we use the AI to basically give them the knowledge and support to make the right products, make them with the right level of quality control that the AI can enforce. And AI can look at the product and can do the quality control and reject poor products and tell them to do it over again. The AI can do the pricing of the product. The AI can do the market assessment based upon competitors and see where the product is selling. It can do the marketing and advertising. It can do the supply chain. It can do the practically everything. And so what's really important for the AI to do initially, and through volunteers, not through the villagers themselves, but volunteers like us on this call, that basically are willing to give a couple hours a week to basically hold their hand in the micro business to get them on the right track, to make the right products, to price the products right, to sell the products in the right markets. AI is very, very fast, very, very cheap, does a remarkable job, and that is how you can enable the person who doesn't know what a computer is, through simple volunteering of and hand-holding, to get them up to speed with the global economy and able to compete in the global economy. Of course, this is a first-time endeavor, so our pilot is really an experiment. But we believe, from what we've learned so far, that we're right on track to attain, tremendous results. I'm convinced myself personally that in Zambia, we will 100x, that's 10,000% increase these women's revenue in 2 more years, if we stick to the course we're on right now. Of course, that isn't proven yet, but I just have this feeling from what I know, because I'm very, very deep in this stuff. I do this stuff nonstop as a full-time endeavor for the AI for Good initiative. And, I know what the AI can do, so I'm very confident that we could do that if everything goes to plan.
Yeah, maybe I can provide a different viewpoint, right? So
Sure.
Thanks, TJ. So on that question, so I do the same kind of thing for enterprises all over the world and speak globally as well, but just to give reference, right? But for enterprises, it's the same thing. You would say, okay, what is this enterprise's niche? What is it good at? Why did they go into business? And the same thing with some of these villages, it's a matter of where they're located, what their geographical location is, like why did they build in that area? There's probably a reason. Maybe there's and not just resource, but there's a matter of like where the water comes from or the type of people. Maybe they have different abilities, or somebody in that village is good with something, and so you can actually leverage that with AI and ask those general questions to find that niche, help people build around that. And so it's a type of like enablement, and then you build that enablement, and you empower them, and then that emboldenment is how they teach others to do the same thing, and then it just kind of grows from there.
Good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much for that.
So we're at the top of the hour now, so I need to give some closing remarks. As we close, let's reflect on the truth that the poverty is not inevitable. It's solvable. From Zamso in Zambia, we see proof that agentic AI can transform lives by opening markets, guiding entrepreneurs, and creating dignity where charity once stopped short. The bottom of the pyramid is not a burden. It's a vast opportunity, and with AI, we now have the tools to unlock it. But technology alone is not enough. The real power lies in us, corporations, investors, NGOs, governments, and individuals like you and me. Together, we can turn artisan skills into thriving enterprises, micro businesses into engines of prosperity, and this week into the beginning of the end of extreme poverty. The final call to action is don't leave as a listener. Leave as a change maker. Join us as a partner, volunteer, investor. Every contribution of every type matters. And on the screen, either use your phone to scan the QR code or go to the website. Sign up. There's no obligation. Just stay in touch.